Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, like straight out of sci-fi.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're talking self-healing materials.
I see where you're going with this.
Imagine your phone screen gets a scratch
Hmm.
and then it just like fixes itself.
Sounds pretty futuristic.
Or like a dent in your car just vanishes overnight.
That would be handy.
Exactly. And to break it all down, we've got our material science guru with us.
Thanks for having me. Always happy to geek out about this stuff.
So to start, let's focus on one type of self-healing polymer.
Oh, there are many.
Oh yeah, tons.
Yeah.
But this one is called PDMS-SS-I-PBNB.
That's a mouthful.
Right. Like a jumble of letters.
But I bet it's got a fascinating story behind it.
Oh, absolutely. Can you unpack that name for us? What makes this polymer so special?
Sure, it's not as complex as it sounds.
That's good to hear.
So PDMS stands for polydimethylsiloxane.
Poly what now?
Polydimethylsiloxane. But really it's just a fancy name for a type of silicone.
Okay, silicone like what's in bakeware.
Exactly.
Sure.
Flexible, heat-resistant, used everywhere.
So that's our base. But what about the rest of that alphabet soup? The SS and I part.
Those are the secret sauce. They give this silicone something called shape memory.
Shape memory. That's like it remembers its original form.
You got it. Imagine a perfectly folded stack of clothes.
Okay, I can picture that.
That's our polymer in its pristine state.
No wrinkles.
Exactly. Then someone comes along and messes it all up.
Oh no, the horror.
That's our damage, a scratch, a dent, you name it. But with this special polymer, those clothes or molecules, they magically refold themselves.
Like they have a built-in blueprint.
Exactly. They remember the original arrangement, that perfect stack.
So even if they get jostled around, they want to go back to that neat pile.
Exactly. That's shape memory in action.
Okay, that makes sense. So the material gets damaged, but those molecules have this urge to reorganize.
Right.
But how does that actually happen? What's driving this self-repair at a molecular level?
That's where the PDMB comes in. It stands for a specific molecular structure that facilitates the whole process.
So it's like the conductor of the orchestra.
In a way, yes. These molecules are connected by special bonds that are dynamic.
Dynamic meaning?
They can break and reform.
Interesting. So when the material is damaged, those bonds break apart.
Right. But they don't stay broken.
Why not?
Think of them like tiny magnets.
Okay, I'm following.
They snap apart when you pull, but they still want to get back together.
So even when damaged, they're trying to reconnect and rebuild the original structure.
You got it. And sometimes they just need a little nudge in the right direction, maybe a bit of heat or pressure.
So it's like the material has this built-in, always-on healing power.
Pretty cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
But how is this different from other self-healing materials? What makes this one so unique?
Well, there are actually a bunch of different ways to make self-healing materials.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they all have their pluses and minuses.
So like what else is out there?
Some use tiny capsules full of a healing agent, like a secret weapon.
And when it's damaged?
Boom, healing agent is released and repairs the damage.
Clever. What else?
Others use special polymers that can flow and rebond when heated.
Like magic putty.
Kinda, yeah. So how does our PDMS-SS-I-PBNB fit in? What's its superpower?
That's what I'm dying to know.
Its big advantage is that it's efficient, versatile, and it can heal at room temperature.
So no need for blowtorches or ovens.
Exactly. Many other materials need high temperatures or some special trigger to kickstart the healing.
But this one is just like, I got this.
Exactly. It's always on, always ready to heal, thanks to those magnet-like bonds.
Talk about low maintenance. So practical for everyday stuff.
And that's what's so exciting. We're moving past theory and into real-world applications.
Okay, let's talk applications. Where do you see the biggest impact in the near future?
Well, one area that's really promising is consumer electronics.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Imagine your smartphone screen healing itself overnight from those pesky scratches.
No more cracked screens. Sign me up.
Right. And it's not just phones, laptops, tablets, TVs. All those screens could become way more durable.
Less e-waste too, right?
Absolutely. Longer-lasting products mean we throw away less stuff, which is great for the environment.
It's amazing how a simple material can have such a ripple effect from our wallets to the planet.
Totally. And it's not just convenience. There are huge implications for medicine, too.
Oh, like what?
Imagine implantable medical devices, pacemakers, or stents that could repair themselves if damaged.
So no more risky repeat surgeries.
Potentially, yeah. It could revolutionize patient care.
Instead of going under the knife again, your implant just heals itself. Wild.
It does sound sci-fi, but researchers are already developing self-healing coatings for stents.
Stents, those tiny tubes that keep arteries open.
Yes. A self-healing stent could last much longer, a huge win for patients.
What other medical marvels are on the horizon?
Oh, tons. Artificial joints, bone implants, even drug delivery systems.
Drug delivery systems.
Think of a patch that releases medicine but can fix itself if accidentally punctured.
Ensuring you get a steady dose of medicine without interruption.
Exactly. The possibilities are mind-boggling.
It's like the future of medicine is being rewritten right before our eyes. But it's not just about medicine and electronics. We touched on sustainability earlier.
Right.
Can you elaborate on how self-healing materials could lead to a greener future?
This is where it gets really exciting. It could change how we think about product life cycles entirely.
In what way?
Imagine products designed to be repaired and reused over and over instead of being tossed out.
That's a major shift. How would that work in practice?
Well, if a product can fix itself from minor wear and tear, it could last much longer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what happens when it finally reaches the end of its life?
Even then, the materials could be easily taken apart and recycled thanks to those dynamic bonds.
So it's a closed loop, reducing waste and our need for new materials.
That's the goal. A truly sustainable model.
It's not just good for the planet, it could create new jobs in repair and remanufacturing.
Exactly. It's a win-win for the environment and the economy.
It's amazing how a single innovation can have such a huge positive impact.
It is.
But let's be real, there must be challenges too, right? We can't just expect everything to self-heal perfectly.
Of course not. We're still early in the game.
So what hurdles are scientists facing?
One big one is scalability. Making these materials in large quantities is still expensive and complex.
So making it affordable and accessible is key.
Exactly. And there's the healing process itself.
Are there limits to what it can fix?
That's a big research area. Some materials can heal multiple times, others have limits.
So improving the robustness and efficiency of self-healing is crucial.
Absolutely. We need materials that can withstand serious damage and bounce back stronger.
It sounds like there's a lot more work to do,
There is.
but the progress so far has been remarkable.
It really has.
I'm confident we'll see even more breakthroughs in the years to come.
Me too. It's a thrilling field to be a part of.
Speaking of the future, I'm really intrigued by self-healing materials in flexible electronics.
Flexible electronics.
Yeah, wearables, bendable screens, that kind of thing.
Ah, I see what you mean.
Those are all the rage now, but durability is still a problem.
True. They're constantly being bent and twisted, putting a lot of stress on the materials.
But what if they could heal themselves from those micro tears and cracks?
That would be a game changer. No more broken circuits or shattered screens.
Imagine truly durable wearables that seamlessly integrate into our lives.
That's the dream. And it goes beyond just durability.
How so?
Self-healing could boost functionality too, like sensors that are super sensitive because they can self-repair.
So wearables that are not only tough, but also smarter and more responsive.
Precisely. Think health monitoring, fitness tracking, even how we interact with machines.
The possibilities are endless.
We've only scratched the surface of what's possible with self-healing materials in this field.
It's amazing to think about. It really blurs the line between our bodies and technology.
It really does.
We've covered a ton today, from the science behind self-healing polymers to all those incredible uses.
It's a big topic.
It is. And I feel like the more we dig in, the more we uncover.
There's always more to learn.
Exactly. It's a field that's always evolving.
And that's what makes it so fascinating.
For sure. And it's not just one field, right?
Oh, definitely.
It's bringing together so many different disciplines.
Absolutely. You've got chemists, materials, scientists, engineers, even ethicists.
That's a great point. We've talked a lot about the benefits,
Right.
but there must be some ethical things to think about too.
Of course. Every new technology has two sides to the coin.
Exactly. Like if stuff lasts way longer because it can self-heal,
That could disrupt a lot of industries.
like manufacturing jobs, right?
Exactly. We need to consider the social and economic impact.
It's a good reminder that science doesn't exist in a vacuum.
It's all connected.
It is.
Yep.
But let's go back to that core idea of self-repair for a sec.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest challenges for scientists right now? Can these materials really fix any kind of damage?
Well, that's a big one. Creating materials that can heal all kinds of damage.
So like scratches are one thing, but what about bigger stuff?
Exactly. Tears, punctures, those are tougher.
Make sense? And sometimes they need a special trigger to start healing.
Heat, light, things like that. That can be limiting for some uses.
So it's not enough to just have self-healing, it has to be versatile too.
Right. It needs to work under all sorts of conditions from different kinds of damage.
That's a lot to ask.
It is. But scientists are making progress.
Like what?
Well, some are working on materials that heal all on their own, no triggers needed.
Well, so at room temperature, just like that,
Exactly. And others are making materials that can heal over and over again.
without getting weaker each time.
Right. It's really remarkable what they're achieving.
Sounds like there's a lot of excitement in the research world.
Definitely. It's a really dynamic field.
So where do you see the biggest breakthroughs happening in the next few years?
I think bio-inspired materials are going to be huge.
Bio-inspired.
Yeah, taking inspiration from nature.
Ah, like how our skin heals itself.
Exactly. Or how trees repair their bark. Nature has been doing this for millions of years.
So we're learning from the best.
We are, by applying those natural principles to material science.
We could create a whole new generation of self-healing materials.
Materials that are more efficient, more adaptable, more sustainable.
It's mind-blowing. It feels like we're on the verge of something truly revolutionary.
I think so too.
But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay, I like it.
Imagine you could choose one thing in your life to have self-healing powers.
That's a good one.
What would it be? And why?
That's a great question. It really makes you think about the possibilities, doesn't it?
It does. It challenges us to imagine a future where our stuff can basically take care of itself.
A future where things are more convenient, more sustainable, and maybe even a little bit more magical.
I love that. It's been amazing exploring the world of self-healing materials with you today.
It's been my pleasure.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.